My name is Elizabeth Nickram-Validum. I'm a psychiatrist working at the Georgetown Public Hospital. People who develop mental illness, they usually have a genetic vulnerability, right? It's written in their genes that they can become unwell. People without this genetic vulnerability can also become unwell if they're under prolonged emotional stress. Like if you're at a job that's unfulfilling and you're being burdened with more work every day, or you're in a relationship that's unhealthy where you're being abused and physically and verbally, and if you're in friendships like that too, right? If you're sick or somebody that you love becomes sick, if you lose your parents or somebody who is a good source of social support to you, these things can act as stressors for the onset of mental illness. Well, once you satisfy all the tenets of the definition, yes, then we consider you to be mentally healthy. So if you're able to recognize what your abilities are and to use them to work, to have some, to be productive, right? To have some outcome from the work you do to contribute to society. And if you can deal with stressors in your everyday life, like maybe with your family or at your job, and it does not overwhelm you and burden you, that's an indication that you're having good mental health.
What are some of the conditions that fall under mental health?
Okay, so mental health is something that we want, right? Mental illness is what happens when mental health is not cultivated and when genetic vulnerability to disease make people become unwell. So common mental illnesses that we have in this country, we have psychotic illnesses like schizophrenia and substance-induced psychosis, and then we have neurotic illnesses like depression and anxiety. But these are for the adults. We have seen children in the clinic from as young as 4 or 5. So usually we're concerned with children who are hitting at school, bullying other children, children who are quiet and not participating in activities of the class, not learning as fast as the other children, children who are unable to sit still in their seat, they are always getting up, walking around, not paying attention to the teachers. Those are learning disorders and attention deficit disorders, right? But children do get depressed and children do get sad, but they manifest it differently, right? So, like a child who's, let's say, a 7-year-old child who would have accomplished certain tasks, like to be able to separate it from their mom or dad, to be able to sleep in your own bed, to be able to sleep through the night without urinating in the bed. When they are confronted with stressors that make them anxious and depressed, sometimes they lose some of that functioning, right? So they may not say it to you, but then they might be very irritable and crying when you have to leave them at school because they now have that separation anxiety back again. Every day, keep a check to see how their energy levels are, to see what their mood is, check to see if they're irritable, right? If they find themselves snapping, have some self-awareness of how you behave like during the day and monitor that. Those end the day checks are very important because as soon as you notice that something is different with you in a bad way, you if you have a relative with mental illness, it would be a good option to get checked out. Our approach to treatment of mental illnesses is a biopsychosocial approach. So we have doctors, psychiatrists that we target the biological aspect of treatment. We have psychologists that target the psychological aspects of treatment, and then we have social workers that target that aspect. So everything that is necessary for physical health is necessary for mental health. Not smoking, not drinking alcohol, having a proper diet, sleeping well, exercising, having good relationships with people.